Stephen Van Alstine is the Vice President of Education at the Canadian Payroll Association. He spoke with us about the Payroll Compliance Practitioner certification. Who is the Payroll Compliance Practitioner certification designed for?
The PCP is really designed for the practitioner, the payroll administrator, the individual that's really responsible for the annual payroll cycle within an organization. So from the very initiating hires within the organization, setting people up on payroll, taking them through the full process, through any extraordinary payments that they might receive, wrapping up their the year end, providing T4s, that whole cycle. And then sometimes in between there are things that may happen like terminations. So the practitioner would be responsible for addressing that as well. So really the certification is geared to provide the skills, the knowledge for the individual to work through that whole cycle.
How can this certification help the payroll practitioner's career?
I think any individual who is working within a particular profession wants to become certified or wants to get some kind of designation, and this certification really provides that to that particular individual who wants that. Greater opportunity and reward. Robert Half, who publishes a salary guide, has identified that anybody who has a certification or designation can expect to have better remuneration opportunities. So that does provide that for those individuals. Peer recognition. With respect to peer recognition, again, a certification is going to provide you with that status to those that are in the payroll practitioning community, and obviously somebody who has their PCP would be better recognized from a peer recognition perspective. And then finally, portability. Because of the national scope of Canada and the fact that there are variations from jurisdiction to jurisdiction with respect to certain ways in which you administer payroll, it provides you with portability because you learn about the differences within all of those different jurisdictions.
How would the payroll practitioner go about receiving this certification?
So what an individual who's looking to establish their certification would do, there's 3 courses that are taken through the Canadian Payroll Association, and there's one that can be taken really at any post-secondary institution. The 3 that would be taken through the CPA are the PCL Payroll Compliance Legislation, Payroll Fundamentals 1 or PF1, and PF2, which would be Payroll Fundamentals 2. So they're 3 distinct courses. An individual can take those in 2 methods. One is in the classroom, and we have relationships with public colleges and universities as well as private colleges, so they can take it in one of those 2 formats. Then the other methodology would be online. So individuals who can't get to an actual physical classroom can take the program online. So the individual would have to take the PCL, PF1, and PF2. And in between taking PF1 and PF2, if the individual doesn't have a post-secondary introduction to accounting program, that is also a requirement.
And what are the maintenance requirements?
From a maintenance perspective, there are 3 requirements. The first is maintenance of membership, and an individual would probably want to become a professional member within our association, and they would need to maintain that professional membership. The second requirement is to adhere to a code of professional conduct. And a code of professional conduct is, it's sort of the epitome of what establishes a profession, because you're required to maintain a certain ethical behavior, and so you have to adhere to that code. And then the last requirement is to maintain continuing professional education. And we have a 3-year rolling cycle in which the individual is required to maintain a certain number of hours during that period. So for the PCP, it's 42 hours of new learning, which is an average of 14 hours per year that they would have to maintain. They could do that all in 1 year, or they could spread it out over the 3-year period. But within that 3-year period, they need to maintain that level of continuing professional education.